One, and here we go. Hey everyone, I know that a little hiatus, and we're back with the Kind Hearts Media Mobilecast, and with recurring guest, Coach Cadden of the UK, multiple Muay Thai world champion, engineer, and he's part of the Your Performance Institute as well as he owns his own gym, ChokDee Academy. Like a friend of Coach, some of the friends I trained with in Thailand, and like kind of like this newfound mentor of me that we even though we've never met in person, but we like connect on so many levels. And anyway, no further ado, welcome back to the show, Coach Cadden. How you doing?
Yo, bro. How's it going?
Yeah, great to have you back, man.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
You got any updates since the last one?
Oh, well, we had some fighters out last week. Had a kind of 2-2 record, so yeah, it was a bit of busy night. Play a few things to work on. A lot of positives, a lot of and a few negatives to take away from it. But these negatives are only development points, so it's keeping that positive mindset and just saying what do we need to do in order to boost our performance next time.
Absolutely. Who so who out of the most, were they all like, I guess they're like under 5 fights or 10 fights of your fighters?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I forgot. I can't think of his name right now. One of the young cats of yours from the last podcast, he started following me, and I was just like, "What's up, motherfucker?" Like we were like instantly cool right off of that. So
Yeah.
I was just dope. I'm just like, just because I don't know. I like all the So the people that trained under him that I trained with in Thailand: Adam Hoffman, Reese Dickinson, shout out Reese, shout out Adam, Staff Swainson, and then Jack Cooper, UK champion. But yeah, like just a bunch of really good, dope guys that then Coach Cadden's there. So I don't know. I call him the Mr. Miyagi UK remix, Muay Thai, like Muay Thai Mr. UK remix, you know. So, but yeah. Oh yeah, I know we didn't get to go on this a lot last time, but then just because, so we can go deeper with this podcast. Can you tell more about what the York Performance Institute you're doing at the York Performance Institute? Because I know you and I have a lot of like overlap and stuff.
Yeah. So one of the things that I found that as I've been developing and doing all these like extra academic courses and things like that, people were just kind of coming to me for like martial arts training. And then some of my clients, we started talking, and you have your normal kind of conversation, like catching up what people have been up to and things like that. And then a couple of my clients turn around and saying that they were going to other people for like hypnotherapy and like diet plans and things like that. I was like, bro, why didn't you just say, like, I could have hooked you up? And so it was kind of a light bulb moment for me, not only from a personal development point, but from a business perspective as well. So what I realized is that my personal training brand wasn't selling the depth of coaching that I offer. And I was searching around for different ways of explaining it. Because I was saying, like, 1 minute I was doing a bit of nutrition, the next minute I'm doing a bit of mind coaching, then I'm doing my Muay Thai training and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training, bit of self-defense work and stuff like that, but not really kind of packaging it together well. And then I was doing some work. It was when I was over at Fight Island working for the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
I started talking to the guys from the Performance Institute there, and we started chatting and saying about what the scope of the UFC Performance Institute was, and still is, and then I was like, well, this is pretty much what I'm offering at the same time as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so that became a better, like, umbrella brand, and
Makes sense.
a better descriptive terminology for the depth of coaching that I'm offering. Because, like, yeah, okay, people know me from my Thai boxing and stuff like that, and I'm doing bits with my Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and it seems to be lots of different kind of segments and different packages of how I'm kind of putting things together. And what I realized is that I could kind of classify all these things under the York Performance Institute brand.
Yeah.
So I pulled everything together under that York Performance Institute brand as a level of education. Because the thing is that, yeah, okay, like, I'm not professing to be the don of strength and conditioning. I'm not saying that I know everything I need to know about from a nutrition perspective. And I've got a lot of close friends and part of the network that I'm building through the Performance Institute, like a lot of these guys have.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is that, right, okay, well, if people are coming into the gym and they don't have a clue about kind of calorie intake, BMR, basal metabolic rate, and activity levels and stuff like that. Well, if you can't monitor your diet and be able to adhere to calorie restriction, then what's the point in getting, like, the Rolls Royce service of nutrition and diet nutrition work?
Absolutely.
From one of these, like, one of my friends who is part of the Performance Institute, but they're going to deliver a Rolls Royce service.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But if you can't stick to a calorie deficit or a calorie surplus, to, like, depending on which way you want to go, well, if you don't have that discipline, then what's the point in hassling these elite guys with substandard service?
Yeah.
And so it's not to kind of put the burden on the client and just turn around and say, well, yeah, you're not good enough to work with that person. This is down to education.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about it from an education perspective, what we're saying is that, right, okay, well, my service may be like a primary school, secondary school introduction to diet nutrition, and then the my guy that I pass people on to then delivers the kind of college, university, PhD level education in ramping up performance that way.
Yeah, very dope.
So therefore, that's what it essentially comes back to. Now, funnily enough, this is one of the things that I posted yesterday. I was on the Huberman podcast.
Oh yeah, the Hoover, yeah, the Alex. I reposted that. Yeah, I just so everyone knows, I repost all his shit. I'm like his main stalker on social media. So anyway, but yeah, you can go ahead and describe what it was about.
So one of the that was one of my kind of shout outs from yesterday, in saying you have to want to do it.
Yes.
Now, Dr. Huberman was saying stuff yesterday, saying about how one of the experiments that they'd done in the lab was doing it with will or being forced to do it. So if you're forced to train, then you get all the health benefits that go along with training. However, if you're forced to train, there's more stress that comes with it. And so then that increases all your inflammatory markers. You get a lot of kind of negative things that go along with it. So the fact is that like the way that they managed this experiment was a mouse that was free to run in an exercise wheel, and then that mouse was the spinning wheel had a fixed wheel next to it, but the mouse was trapped inside the wheel. And so whenever the mouse that wanted to exercise, wanted to work out, then he could run on the wheel as much as he wanted. But the mouse that was trapped inside the wheel and then couldn't escape had a massive increase in its stress markers, inflammatory markers, and everything else that went alongside it. So it has a lot to do with motivation as well.
Yeah.
And this is the crossover between the kind of physical and mental side of our training.
Yeah. Dude, okay, so that's just because the whole will part. So whether will is or the degree of will too, like you can have the will to like create the accountability and like to discipline yourself, right? And then there's also this will just like 4 a.m. even without an alarm clock type shit, or even with the light alarm, I guess, or you just up every morning at 4 a.m. like Mike Tyson style, you know?
Yeah.
But then like just being the willingness to do that, whether it's there or not, your body biologically responds with resistance if you don't have if you don't have it. So then it just ends up fucking up your health, and we're making things a lot harder to achieve things that like, and that has to do with all of the psychology, like the endorphin releases and stuff, right? Like if you want to do it, and you're enjoying it. So
correct. So so what that's doing is that with the will to train, the want to train, there's a desire to train. So then you get your dopamine hit. This is the dopamine hit that you get with the endorphins of training.
Yes.
However, if your training is shrouded in guilt, saying, "Oh, I know I have to train. Oh, for God's sake, like, oh, do I have to? Well, he's telling me to go training, so I'll go training just to shut him up." And notice that brings us a different kind of energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I hate that shit.
It's a different vibe to training.
Yeah.
So this is what we're trying to kind of understand and harness the benefits to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's our current thing that we're playing with.
Yeah. So like as a summary for people, so because Coach Cadden, like he's like a renaissance man in so many ways. I mean, multiple title Muay Thai world champion, engineering background, he has his own business, he's an entrepreneur, you know, he has a really funny ass sense of humor, I think, and he can articulate his ideas really well that connects with a lot of people. He's a mentor to a lot of people. He's just like, he's just doing so many things. So the York the York Institute, that's that Renaissance man umbrella of all the different avenues. I mean, he's a purple belt in fucking jiu-jitsu. That's a fucking legit guy. I'm a fucking white belt. I fucking suck, but I mean, and he doesn't even blow that shit up about himself at all. So I like, he'll fuck up some people. Like he could all aspects of that, like combat, and then the mental training too. So like, which is why I fuck with him so hard. Anyway, but in terms of York, it's just like a powerhouse of getting. I would even say it gets you in terms of personal fitness and even performance goals in a sport specific whatever, or if it's specifically the ones that you want to do, like that you're specialized in, anything combat sports essentially and fitness, then it gets you up to college, and then the specialization he just hands you off with his network to the grad school people to specialize, and then get you into that real peak level, and then that's like hundreds to $1,000 type per hour consultancy type shit where they get high. They live with like pro fighters, and then like, you know, are part of their fight camp and shit. So anyway, that's just so you know. So fuck with him hard. If you want to fucking level up your game, hit up Coach Cadden at Rich Cadden on Instagram. So anyway, this is a really dope plug. I fucking love what you're doing, man. Like, which is why it's just really inspiring. And then like, I just vibe with him a lot. So, but, so this is something that I mean, dude, honestly, guys, like Coach Cadden and I can like talk for hours on end about like a lot of stuff. We have just a lot of mutual interests, you know, so I shared interests. But the one thing that we wanted to kind of like discuss that about was, so what, like Westerners go training in Thailand, right? We're called Farang, that's like for foreigners. Apparently it's named after a fruit that's like white flesh, and then right, something like that. I think that's what it was. And then so they called it, yeah, and then that's what they called well, the expats or the foreigners there who were like primarily white, Farang. And then but yeah, so how to Coach Cadden, like what did you notice? You've trained, I think they're total like a year, 6 months, maybe a year, something like that. Close to that, a year, 6 months in Thailand, right?
Well, I had 3 long stays.
Yeah.
But then basically all my annual leave from when I was like 18 through till I was 33, it was all spent over in Thailand.
Oh, so those are like what, 2 months at a time or 1 month at a time?
So yeah, like I'd have like 6-7 weeks a year.
Oh, really? And then so dang,
Yeah.
so okay, so that amounts maybe 3 to 4 years living in Thailand, like totally,
Yeah,
right? Something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So, and then so the longer you stay there, the more nuances you pick up on, and then like, dude, I love Thailand, like the refined fight culture, and then it's just, and then the shit that they don't ever let the foreigners know in, but then if you just watch, then you can pick up on, like. Anyway, Coach Chad, can you provide some insight? And because I know a lot of my audience or people that train with me are like interested in hearing this type of shit because they know how much I evangelize Thailand. So yeah, but I want to hear from the fucking OG himself. Let's go.
So here we go. Strap in. All right. So what we've got is this like higher level value, which is called ruup. Okay, ruup is your composure in between the techniques of what you throw. So right, so let's talk here now. Every sport is all about getting your body to make specific shapes, and your body's doing particular movements. Now the kind of blocks of technique that we do to put our body into a punching shape, a kicking shape, a kneeing shape, an elbowing shape, we can do. That's like the ABC. That's like your building blocks. Mm-hmm. However, what you do in between those techniques is your ruup, is your style. So it's being able to take yourself back to your just stand in your stance. Now, the thing is that it's with this, less is more. And everyone thinks that Muay Thai is this like frantic, high-paced, high-intensity combat sport, which it is, which it can be when it needs to be. But when it doesn't need to be, it's an ultimate efficiency.
Yes.
So what we're talking about is what we do in between our techniques is just as important as the actual techniques that we're throwing.
Oh yeah.
If you punch, you come back to your stance. If you kick, you come back to your stance. And your tidiness of how you stand in your stance, how many little adjustment steps it takes. Once you land your leg back into your stance after you've kicked, like, does it take 2, 3, 4 steps? Or do you do it like kick and return exactly on point?
Yeah, that shit's dope.
Now, this is where like the benefit of kind of Pilates and yoga kicks in.
Mhm.
Now, with Pilates and yoga, you're thinking very carefully about your body position.
Mhm.
So you're thinking about, again, you're making your body make the right shapes.
Mhm.
And if you work with any yoga instructor and stuff like that, they're thinking about, so if I just hold my camera up like this, if I'm holding my arm up there or there,
Mhm.
and vertically straight or slightly out to the side,
Yes.
the yoga teacher will then pull it back into correct alignment so that I'm getting the full protraction through my shoulder
Yes.
blade and activate all the right muscles.
Absolutely.
Now, can you then do that at speed?
Yeah. For sure.
So
for
this
sure.
is when, say, if I pop my jab out, do I pop my jab out and it comes straight back to my guard, or do I pop my jab out and it comes back the long way and then comes back and sits in my guard?
Yeah, yeah.
And the kind of sloppiness and the laziness of technique is massive.
Mm.
So the experience that I had from this, that some of you may have connected with in if you trained in Thailand, like when you hit the pads. So there was one time I was getting ready to fight over in Thailand. I was getting over there, and my coach said that we've got probably 4 or 5 days to get fight ready. As soon as I land. Now the thing is that normally you have maybe 2-3 days of jet lag.
Yeah.
To get over when you land.
Yeah.
So in essence, all I really had was like 1 day's preparation. So I was doing a lot of work, a lot of like pad work and preparation beforehand. I was training. I train a bad company gym over in Leeds.
Mhm.
So that's where I was getting all my kind of proper like fight preparation.
Mhm.
And then it was kind of nuanced when I was getting to Thailand. Now, the essence and intensity of the training was just as high back at Bad Company. I mean, I was sparring and training with people like Liam Harrison
Yeah.
and
Shout out Leon Harrison.
Jordan Watson
Mhm.
and James France and all those guys. Now, those guys are legit kind of world class guys, and we had the intensity, and it really kind of brought the fire. It was very competitive, like sparring in the gym.
Mhm.
One of the kind of softer style to nuance it to the Thailand style. I got that from GT Gym.
Mm.
And this is where we started having like conversation with the trainers. Now, so I got there, and I was like, right, I'm on fire. I'm feeling fit. I'm feeling strong. I starts banging the pads. I starts hitting the pads as hard as I can. I was grunting, shouting like, bam, 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 like going crazy on the pads. And I was like, yeah, I'm on fire.
Yeah.
And then the trainer turned around. It was like, weak, no good style. And I was like, what? I was like, I feel like I'm hitting the pads harder than I've ever hit the pads before. And then this is when I was introduced to this style and this concept of ruup. And ruup is how you hold yourself in between. So even though I was hitting the pads just as hard as I'd hit before, even harder than I'd hit before, my sloppiness of getting back to stance and back to guard and back to position correctly with fewer steps, that's what was making me look weak. So it wasn't the fact that I was hitting any weak, I was hitting harder. But because my sloppiness of getting back to stance was exaggerated, this is why they said that my style was weak. And so that was like a real big learning for me. Getting back to my stance and maintaining style. And that style is more important than the kind of athleticism that you can bring to the fight.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, so if you guys watch like a high level Muay Thai fight, like Channel 7 type shit, they're just like, so yeah, and I tell this all the time. I call Muay Thai the ballet of striking, and just the shapes that they make throughout the technique, as well as going in between just balance and poise, as you said, composure, the ruup. It's just like, it makes it so aesthetically pleasing to watch. You know, it's just like, it's poetry in motion. You know, and yeah, it's like, it's just this is like a really dope concept that, yeah, the nuances that he would pick up on in Thailand that like that Westerners may not appreciate or get even any exposure to in the West, training in the West, right? So
yeah. I mean, the thing is that we have slightly different perspectives. So even from a scoring perspective. So
oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Scoring in Muay Thai is based on balance and effect. Now, if you rely on those two keywords, then that's probably that's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. However, like in the West, we focus on the detail, whereas in the East, they focus on the big picture first. So an example of this is if I showed a Westerner a picture of a tiger in a jungle, they would say it's a picture of a tiger in a jungle. If I showed the same picture to somebody in Thailand, they would say it's a picture of a jungle that just so happens to have a tiger in it. And so notice that they're saying the same thing, but in the West, we go from detail to big picture. But in the East, they go from big picture down to detail. Interesting.
Dang, that's crazy. I actually never heard anyone described like that way. Cause like, I was just curious, out of all your fights, like how many, especially when I'm sure that when you were like initially out there, you just like, you got confused by the Thai scoring system as well. And like you lost, I'm guessing you lost fights that you feel like you should have won or that type of shit. Yeah. Like what, so then for you and your journey as a fighter, what adjustments did you have to consciously make? Like, I guess, adjust, developing your ruup, and then, what are other some other stuff that you had to like figure out?
Yeah, so I started taking that concept, and then what I started doing was they had a bag on the concrete floor. So I went over and I put some chalk marks on the floor to where my feet should be, and then making sure that I threw the technique correctly and landed back to my chalk mark. So not only focusing on the power of the technique, but also the return back to stance. So when you first start doing it, it feels like double the effort.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, though. Yeah,
it's like it doesn't feel more efficient. However, when you recognize the impact that it has to the big picture, then you go, right, okay, this is why I need to return back to my stance so that I can control my posture better.
That's dope.
So I did a similar thing with one of my guys down at my gym.
Yeah.
I laid out a pair of yoga blocks
Mm-hmm.
in front of the bag. Instead of having chalk marks on the floor, he was stood on the yoga blocks. He stood on the blocks on the floor. And when he threw his kick, he had to land back onto the yoga block. Otherwise, the kick doesn't count.
Mm.
So it says you have to do 100 kicks.
Damn.
100 kicks, but also making sure. So it's not about the power of the technique. It was about the returning back to stance and making sure that they weren't trying too hard or pushing too hard or trying to create too many barriers or too much tension in the technique.
Yeah. It's the complete precise execution, or trying to be as, I guess, perfect as possible throughout the execution of the technique, right? So
Yeah.
it's it's a pursuit of perfection. That is so dope, man. Were there any like techniques that you just had to pick up on yourself, like that they wouldn't tell you, that wouldn't teach foreigners, but you just picked up and then they're like impressed with them, they impressed them or something?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that like my first, I would say that my first 3 years of clinch work in Thailand,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it was clinch work. It was getting up off the floor practice.
Yeah, dude, story of my fucking life. Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, it's like I just got bored of picking myself up off the floor.
Yeah.
And one of the things that this teaches you is to have heart. It teaches heart. It teaches determination, and it tests your resiliency.
Yes,
It tests like
absolutely.
how much do you want it.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, if you give up every time you get in the clinch, you're gonna get your ass kneed.
Mm-hmm. Very facts.
Yeah. So yeah, like this was probably one of the biggest things that I took from Thailand was my clinch work.
Oh yeah. So for those who don't know, who have never trained in Thailand and who say they train Muay Thai in the US, in the States at least. Yeah. And from a lot of the gyms that I've witnessed and just trained at, there's like, they neglect clinch like a motherfucker. So clinch
Yeah.
work is almost non-existent in the States, at least for all like 8 gyms I've trained around, 8 to 10, whatever. So, but like in
Well, I mean,
Thailand,
like I say, it's similar over here. But I mean, here's one that I've been playing with for the past for the past like 2 weeks down at my gym. So the person that controls the space controls the fight.
mm-hmm.
So this is why push kick is king.
Yes.
So push kick is king. You control the pace, the engagement of the fight with the push kick.
It's the jab of the legs, guys. The jab is the most important punch. Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in between, there's the chaos of the fight. And you can put your own stamp on the chaos, however that may be. So you might be a Muay mad, a punch style fighter. You might be a Muay cow, a knee style fighter. You might be a Muay Thai, a kicking style, Muay Femur, a sneaky style. Yeah. But it's up to you of how you impose yourself in the chaos of the fight to put your own stamp on it. However, every single style is negated by clinch work.
That is fucking hard, guys. That's why clinch work is fucking, yeah. Okay. Keep going.
Clinch work is king.
Yeah.
Clinch work is king. So
yeah, especially at Muay Thai Thailand. Yeah.
So notice that we go from long range with our push kicking style.
Yeah.
Chaos in the middle.
Yes.
Until you've actually got hold of somebody for your clinch work. And so if you're clinching someone, you can pulling them in close and they're all the way in. If you're push kicking someone, they're all the way out.
Mm-hmm.
And the stamp that we put on the chaos in between is our own style, whether it, like I say, whether it's a Muay Mad or Muay Femur, whichever style, whichever style you want to put on it. I'll send you a little pic of the whiteboard explanation that I did.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
I'll send you a pic on that later.
For sure.
But this is and within this, what we find is that we'll have as a fighter, you need to have a plan A, a plan B, plan C, plan D. So, okay, so we're gonna go with your plan A is a Muay Mad style, a boxing style fight. Okay, and you're a pressure fighter. So you're a boxing style pressure fighter. You're gonna hunt people down and you're gonna box their face off. Now, the question is that if they yield, if they back up, if they step back, then you can keep hunting them down, and your plan A works.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't move back, then your plan A isn't going to work. You can't bully them. You can't push them back. You can't control the space well.
Mm.
So then you have to resort back to the clinch work.
Mm.
You have to have a plan B. So what's your plan B? Well, if you're a Muay Mad first and they don't back up, you're going to fall into your plan B, which could be a Muay Cow, a knee style fighter.
Mm.
If they're not backing up, you're going to fall into the clinch. You're going to have to work your ass off in the clinch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the way that we practice it in the gym, like if you're working with someone that's better than you or equal to you, you can play your A game. You can play your A style game. If you're playing with someone that's maybe not as experienced as you, you can try and you can practice your B style game.
Mm.
If you're practicing with a beginner, so even like
makes sense. Yeah.
If I've had, well, all right. So if I've had 65 fights. Now, if I go in and I spar with a beginner, I bring my A game, I'm going to beat them up. I bring my B game, I'm probably going to dominate. But this gives me an opportunity to practice my C game. Mm-hmm. So maybe some like defensive stuff or some like tricky stuff, like playing games, learn how to set traps.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be jab, cross, hook, body kick. Jab, cross, hook, body kick. Yeah. Jab, cross, hook, body kick. Next time I go jab, cross, hook, they're expecting the body kick, but I change it to a cross again, and I can stutter the technique.
Yeah.
And so I get an opportunity to practice the game. And I like, you do it with respect. You don't just kind of trying to plant them out and iron them out, like going too hard. Don't be a dick.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
You go in and you just touch with the right hand saying, well, this is my C game. I'm trying to practice my C game. I don't want to break my toys. I don't want to injure my training partners. Yeah. If I ain't got any training partners, if I put off the beginners, then the beginners don't want to spar with me.
Yeah.
So then I don't get to practice my C game.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. I was going to say a little gym etiquette knowledge for you guys who go way too hard. Or keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, every fight, every sparring session isn't a fight. It's an opportunity for you to practice your technique in a free-flowing environment where you're not just drilling technique again. Mm-hmm. That's what sparring is. It's not a fight. And people that fight in sparring, it's like they're not learning anything.
Yeah.
So what's the point? So, okay, well, all right, maybe there's a little bit to that. So, if you're turning it into a fight, then you're probably playing your A game. You're probably being challenged. But if you're doing that against beginners, then you've just been a dick.
Yeah.
And then I might play with a D game. Like how many levels can we go through? How many games can I play?
For sure.
So if I've got a D game, right? Okay, well, if I'm playing, I have to learn to maybe read technique. I'm playing a counter game. I see them starting to wind up a kick. Can I be reactive enough to time my push kick without injuring them? And this is the benefit of sparring with kids.
Yeah, for sure. I love sparring with kids and girls, or like just females. Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, to be honest, I got some badass girls at my gym, and sometimes I need to bring my A game. So
I'm sure. Yeah. I know what you mean.
So yeah, like it's one of those where like you're saying, well, okay, if I'm sparring with the kids, I've got size, I've got athleticism, I've got experience. Well, how can I level the playing field?
Yeah,
if
exactly.
If I take all my skills away, if I take all my athleticism away, then I need to rely on the technique, and then that's how I'm going to learn better technique.
Yes, absolutely, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, take some notes, people. Keep going. You're doing awesome.
And then okay, so now we've got 4 games. We've got our A game where we're being competitive. We've got our B game where we can practice against less experienced people. I've got my C game that I can practice against beginners, and I've got my D game that I can practice with the kids. Now, sooner or later, my B game is going to start catching up my A game.
Yes.
Sooner or later, my C game is going to start catching up my A game. Sooner or later, my D game is going to start catching up my A game.
Yep.
Then guess what? Your whole A game improves.
Yep.
Why do you think Sanchez is so good?
Yeah.
Because he can play and he can spar with anybody.
Yeah.
And so it's not about having an A game, B game, C game, D game, E game, whatever. It's about saying, I can play Muay Thai and I've got a wealth of experience that I can lean on.
Yeah.
But also, in the stress of a situation, in the heat of a situation, when we're under stress, our bandwidth reduces.
Yes.
So if I've got a spectrum of technique, I don't know, let me see if I can balance you on my lap. No, I can't do that. Let's see, one sec. Can you still see me?
Yeah, you're good.
So if this is my spectrum of technique when I'm relaxed,
yeah.
As soon as I get stressed,
yes,
we go in.
Yep.
Until we get to a point where I'm only using the techniques that I learn and know and trust. I know that if I make a mistake, I can get out of it quickly, and I can lean on these techniques and do the basics well. But the thing is that basics are basics because basics work. So you play with your jab, you play with your push kick. So what we're talking about is how to expand your bandwidth of experience and expand your bandwidth of technique so that even when you're stressed, you can still pull out highlight reel shit and start knocking people
out. Facts. Who's your favorite Thai fighter? Nak Muay. Nak Muay, for those who don't know, means just Muay Thai fighter. So, hello. Oh shit! What happened?
What happened then? You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah. Your video just seemed to.
Oh.
Yeah. Your video just turned up. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go. It's something. Yeah. Some kind of maybe some something's just a random spottiness in the connection. But I was about to say, Who's your favorite not muay?
Must be Sanchai. He's the
Oh,
goat.
yeah, he's okay. Okay, outside Sanchai. How about some golden era legends?
Okay, so we're going back golden era, then Samat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean these are like such typical. I was expecting like I don't know. Is there? So you like Sanchai, Samat, and then yeah. Who else do you appreciate?
Um,
Oh.
Somrak Kamsing.
Somrak, yeah, okay.
Sam Sanisan.
Yeah.
I'm liking Super Bon at the moment, obviously.
Yeah,
Pan Payak. Who else?
Oh yeah, you see, you like femur style. That's right. He's
Yeah.
the femur philosopher. That's one of his AKAs. So femur for those is like technician or like that's so yeah, he likes that. Yeah, and he's just naming just femur after femur. So
yeah, just full femur style. That's me.
Yeah, that's cool. That's why I'm curious. How come only Kia one way? You haven't. And the thing is, you mentioned about like retreating, because, and this is what I'm trying to work on. I retreat a lot, but then I'm trying to incorporate more angling out, and the way that Oli does it, I'm just like, that shit is fucking goat level. Like I love the way I love the way he does that. Yeah, the way he evades.
I like that. I like that.
Oh
I
yeah,
appreciate that stuff.
yeah. So like,
but he's like so he's kind of back foot femur.
Yeah.
So therefore it leads itself more to a kicking style and a slightly wider stance. So a slightly wider base than I normally play with. So as a like my main kind of go-to was like a Muay Cow style.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I mean he's from the UK, guys. What do you expect? They like them hands.
No.
Oh, wait, we got no knees. Sorry, that's right. Yeah, my bad. I just fucked up. Yeah, my bad.
So yeah, my style was more kind of knee and clinch work and stuff like that.
You try to play the Thais at their own game.
Yeah. Like,
that's the way you do it, guys.
The thing is, like my background lent itself really well to that kind of clinch grapple type stuff, because I was when I first started, I was a brown belt in judo.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah. I feel like we talked about this. Okay, judo background, guys. All right, so there you go.
Yeah,
what else does this man not do? Let's find out.
So brown belt in judo. And one of the reasons why I started Thai boxing is that I was starting to get lit up in
that's right. That's right. We
some fights back home.
Yeah.
So yeah, like learn how to punch, learn how to deal with people punching me. Then I just wanted to get to the grapple, get to the clinch, which kind of lent itself really well, like the arm controls and the neck control. This was my kind of go-to.
Very nice. Ooh, oh yeah. How much time do you have? Like, what's the longest we can stretch it to?
Yeah, we're good, mate.
We could go like 15 more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So like, what advice would you give to someone? Oh, how about this? For a 1 month stay. Okay, here's actually okay. For a foreigner, a Westerner who's never been to Thailand, they're about to train to Thailand. So what advice would you give to someone who's only staying there for 1 month? What would you give to someone who's staying there for 3 months? And what would you give to someone who's staying for 6 months or longer? If there is a difference.
Yeah, so the thing is that I'm a loyal guy, so I only ever really trained with Jitty.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's cool.
So I didn't really do much kind of gym hopping. So if you want to fight out of a gym, I recommend find your gym, like maybe have a session. I have a session at a gym and then go. But if as soon as you make your decision, you stick by it.
Yeah.
Be a man of be a man of your word.
Yeah, I totally agree with that too.
I don't like the idea of gym hopping.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of loyalty and building bonds and building friendships with people.
Absolutely, same here.
So there's a certain like I say, the loyalty that goes along with that is an important skill.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going for a short break, then yeah, okay, like pick a mix time. Go and have a play at a few different gyms and see what you like.
Yeah.
If you're there for a month and you're looking to and you're looking to fight on a more kind of regular basis, then I'd say try 2 or 3 gyms and then pick one and then stick there.
That's pretty sound advice.
And if you're going to go anything more than that, then same deal. Like do 2 or 3 gyms, and then stick there. Like even if it's like 6 months, a year, and then you'll find the vibe. You'll find the technique. You'll find the thing that kind of works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's going to be. It's never always kind of plain sailing and easy sailing, and there might be issues that you need to deal with, and this is where your own moral compass kind of kicks in, finding how quickly you want, but how quickly you want these results and things like that. But as I've got older, I tend to see like everyone's in the instant generation now. Everyone wants everything right now.
Yes.
And so there has to be a kind of patience and learning to accept situations and trust the process.
Yes.
And go through it this way. So yeah, that's why.
Very, very good advice. As someone who I've total stay out there, I guess, in Masters to 2 years out in Thailand. I totally agree with everything this man says. So, and you hear it from the OG himself. So, but what's one of your favorite Thailand memories?
Like so many, like going. So I had a month stay up in a place called Pets and Luck.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like halfway between Bangkok and Chiang Mai.
Mm-hmm.
Not really a tourist spot. But I went there for a month and did like some work. I went to one of the monasteries there and stayed in the monastery and stuff.
Oh, that's hard. That's dope.
That was pretty cool. I had a bit of an experience there and played with those guys. So yeah, so that was good. Like seeing how the monks live and dropping in with that lifestyle was interesting. And it gives you a kind of deeper appreciation of what people do when they're out there, and yeah, being able to like learn how to meditate and find that quiet space and unbusy the mind,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing attachment to things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I would say that's probably one of the most valuable experiences, like lifestyle experiences that I've had out in Thailand.
Oh, that's hard. Yeah, that's gangster.
So yeah, like living in the temple and having a couple of weeks there was a it was a deeper experience. Like I learned about meditation and how to go through these things, and yeah, like dropping my bag off and not seeing my bag and my own clothes for like 3-4 weeks was insane. Felt weird.
Damn.
Living that kind of monk lifestyle.
Yeah. Dude, I want to fucking do that shit. That's dope. I'm gonna do that shit.
I mean, like I say, it was good. And it sounds a bit kind of busman's holiday-ish, like being a bit of a tourist. But it was a good experience. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, sounds dope. Sounds really, really dope.
But like I said, what it taught me is materialism and our attachment to always kind of chasing money and things like that, or finding happiness in yourself and calming down your like busy competitive mind. Like in the West, we're kind of brought up and we're already ingrained in the system.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in actual fact, it's a choice to be in that.
There you go.
So when you look to your mates that have got the fast car or the big house and things like that, having the clarity of mind to just say, I'm not really bothered. Like, congratulations, nice one, good on him. Like, he's got a big house, he's got a nice car. Congratulations, well done. You've got what you're searching for. But it doesn't you don't need to make that competitive, because that's where jealousy comes from.
Yeah, that's facts. There you go. Yeah, that's some wise shit.
Yeah, so it kind of stops jealousy. It stops you from like comparing yourself. You don't have to compare yourself, and then that's the route and the pathway to a happier life.
Yes. Comparison is the thief of joy, as they say. The saying goes, guys. Yeah. And so, having that peace of mind, like living in that kind of minimalist lifestyle. Dude, I mean, I sleep on a fucking Thai mat, the Thai yoga mat out here, like in fucking Pittsburgh, like, because I don't like sleeping in a fucking like mattress bed. I like sleeping on the fucking, it's so spacious, this shit. I can fold it up, and I'm like, I have more space to do shit, and like, it's simultaneous to my fucking office chair sometimes, you know. So like, but like, yeah, that's been my bed for the last 2 years. Come to think of it, yeah, since I came back. So
cool.
Yeah, I mean, I anyway, I totally vibe with everything you said. Yeah. What's in terms of a Thailand memory, like in terms of one of your fights, like what's one of maybe that it didn't look, I don't know, did you have like what's one of the deepest, or I guess enlightening moments, or like epiphany moments of a fight that you had in Thailand, that whether it was just a surge of confidence, or maybe it was like just like a telltale like movie moment, like Rocky moment or something, I don't know, like, do you have any one of the, I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I mean, case in point, we've got the IFMAs just about to start this week. So shout out to my boys from Bad Company, Finley and Fergus, from Bad Company Gym. They're fighting out there on the junior IFMAs, and they're looking dope. They're looking ready. So yeah, looking forward to hearing from those. But the second time that I fought on the IFMAs, the King's Cup. So in 2002, Went out, won a bronze medal on the tournament, and like I think I put my stamp on the division at that point, and I was doing really well. It kind of turned a few heads, and people kind of recognized, oh, like I've got some style, and I fought pretty well. But like I said, I got the bronze medal in 2002. I went back in 2004, and like I was facing all this kind of similar people, but we'd all moved down a weight category. So my first one was at 67 kilos.
Yeah.
That was it. That was in 2002. And then 2004, we'd all moved down to 63 and a half.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
I can't do that shit.
So what they said was we had the first weigh-in on weighing day. Everyone's there weighing in and checking weight and stuff. Went in. As I was weighing in, I got spotted by the president of the WMC, World Muay Thai Council.
Hell yeah.
Stephen Fox. So Stephen Fox, he's the president. He came over and was like, "Hi, Richard, you're back again. Nice to see you again," and stuff. And I was like, "Damn it! Like he recognized me, he knows me, and like that's pretty cool."
Yeah.
So says, "Oh, what weight category are you in?" Says, "Oh, 63 and a half." So like, oh, "Okay, cool." So I went over, checked the schedule, and I wasn't supposed to fight until day 2. The next. Yeah, you're ahead of me. You start laughing already.
Yeah.
Okay, so next thing, I'd weighed in, went back to my hotel room. I get a phone call in the hotel room from the England manager. He says, "Oh, you've been moved up. You've been bumped up to first day. So you're fighting this afternoon." I was like, "All right, okay. I need to get in touch with Jitty, like my coach down at the gym." Because he's going to come over and he's going to corner us. I was like, all right, cool. So gets on the bus, goes down to the arena. They're checking it all out. Everyone's kind of milling around. The tournament hadn't even started yet. When I gets there, when he lands at the arena, he comes over and says, "You're the first fight of the tournament." And I was like, "Oh shit! All right, okay. So let's go." Like, phone up Jesus says you're gonna have to hurry up, like we're on at 4 o'clock. And so he's there taxiing it through Bangkok traffic, trying to get to the arena on time. He gets there at like 3:30, rushes in. They had like half an hour prep, and then I'm going out. Finds out that I'm fighting who is it? Krongsak. So I was fighting Krongsak on the first fight of the tournament.
Jesus.
Only I think it was like 4 weeks before he just lost the Lumpini Stadium title.
Jesus.
But then he'd been drafted into the Thailand team.
Yeah.
Because the stipulation is that you weren't allowed to have won a stadium title.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember that shit. Yeah.
So anyone, literally anyone can fight on these, but you could be fighting someone that's the highest ranked Thai in Thailand that hadn't won a stadium title.
Yeah.
So finds out I'm fighting Krongsak. I was like, oh man. Looks over, and one of my other coaches from the gym was over in Krongsak's corner. We went on, came out, we fought. It was a really close fight. It was four rounds, and I lost on points. However, one of the things is that Krongsak went on to knock out everybody else in the weight category.
Oh yeah, I remember. I think you told me the story before. Yeah.
He went on to knock out everyone else in the weight category. And at the medal ceremony, he came over and he was like, Thailand #1.
Oh yeah,
England,
yeah.
England #2. Says you're the next best.
Oh, that's
Says yeah,
gangster.
these guys might have won a silver, won a bronze, but I knocked those guys out. So
Hell yeah.
says you went the distance. You were strong. You go good clinch, good kick. Says you're there. You're #2.
Damn, that's hard. That's a dope. Yeah. Those type of stories, guys. Like, yeah, that type of shit. Like, even though you may not be recognized on paper, but like recognized by the actual people that matter, you know, or like your opponent, or like yeah, that type of shit, or like the people's champion, or like even like the judges thought made you lose, but the crowd thought you won. That type of shit like happens all the fucking time, and that's why it's like it's so beautiful. It's like so much like.
Okay, so here's another to tag on to this.
Yeah.
So after the medal ceremony, we all went back to the hotel.
Yeah.
We was in the hotel, and all the like Thai coaches from Golden Era were there in the restaurant. We sat down, and there was Samart. There was Diesel Noi.
Oh wow.
There was Pudpad Noi. There was Somrat Kam Singh.
Oh wow. Holy shit! Like, all the fucking goats.
It was literally the who's who
of
Muay Thai sat around this table, and Pudpad Noi was the French coach, and he'd brought over a case of French wine, and they were all sat around the table drinking this wine. Mm-hmm. And while they were having conversations, I was just kind of sat there like, oh my God, it's like all the goats are here, like just sat around listening to the conversations. And Samart was like, all right, okay, let's put this to bed now. Like all these names around the table, let's work it out. Like the greatest of all time. I'm sure you'll all agree that I'm #1.
That is so fucking
Samart was just dope.
Oh, that is hilarious.
And then he went around and he numbered everyone else. It was like, yeah, so Diesel Noid #2, Pudpad Noid #3, Somrak #4, and I was like, I'm gonna dive in on this conversation. I was like, Samart, what number am I? And he turned around, he's like 256. Like with that, like all the other Thais started laughing. Like we were talking like top 10.
Yeah.
Like I was proud about being 256. Like, of all the Thai boxers around,
yeah, for sure,
the greatest Thai boxers of all around. If I'm 256, I'm happy. I've made my stamp. I'm good with that.
For sure. That's dope. That's hilarious. That's fucking funny. That's
like all the other Thais were laughing, thinking, "Oh yeah, it's only 256. He's rubbish. He's low level." Yeah. I was like, "Motherfucker, I'm a high level."
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're the only ranked Farang in that case among the Thais.
This is it.
Yeah, that's a good ass story. Fuck, man. Oh, we're coming to the end of the interview. Do you have any announcements, like what upcoming stuff that you're going on?
So yeah, I've got a busy kind of end of the year as we're running through. I'm getting more involved with my like commissioning stuff now with ACA over in Russia. So so I've got a couple of trips over to Russia before Christmas. Then I've got a couple of seminars over in the Isle of Man between Christmas and New Year. So for the guys in the Isle of Man, keep an eye out on that. For Jones MMA and Fitness, so have a look out for those guys. And then we're rolling into 2022. So
hell yeah.
So yeah, it's it's a busy end of the year, but we've got a few things planned out, getting ready for next year now. So yeah, just watch this space.
Watch this space. Hell yeah. Everyone. Oh yeah. Thank you, Coach Cadden. But everyone, literally follow him on Instagram, at Rich Cadden, and then ChokDee Academy, at ChokDee Academy. Yeah, that's on what is on the shirt. But then like if you, especially for people who are coaches, like I get a lot of wisdom from this man, and he's just a dope person. So anyway, but Coach Cadden, thank you so much again. It's always fun. It's fun as always, you know. We have a lot of deep insights, good talks and shit. So, but yeah, I mean, if anything, I'll message you on Instagram in a couple of minutes or some shit. So, but yeah,
Nice one.
yeah, man, Coach
Nice
Cadden,
one.
you take care. All right, until next time. All right.
Cheers, man. Take it
Peace.
easy.
Peace.
See ya.
Have a good one.